ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः।
Shivoham.
शिवोहम गुरुजी प्रणाम।
Okay. We are gathering here week on week only to understand Patanjali Yoga Sutras. If that is our understanding, then it is not right. Why? Because Patanjali Yoga Sutras are meant for what? That we need to understand. And most of the times we lose the sight of the goal in order to become literate, right? And this has been happening over centuries. I would say right from the beginning, when this education started. You also studied in your college without knowing what you are going to achieve through it. And that confused state of yours during the learning period has resulted in the life you are living now. So in the same way, we have to be very, very clear all through our studies, what is the purpose of it? Whether we were discussing Shiva Sutras, or we are discussing Kabir, or whether we are discussing Saundarya Lahari, or now we have taken Patanjali Yoga Sutras. What is the goal? Why we are spending so much time, energy, and effort week on week? Or is it only a weekly endeavor? Or should it be like that? That is to be clear. We have already seen in Shiva Sutras that the whole clouding of consciousness happens because of our perceptions or knowledge. Which means whatever we can put in language, whatever we can say we have understood, or whatever we can say we have not understood, both become the cloud, that haze which covers our essential nature, what we are, our infiniteness, our state of eternal conscious blissful being which we are. Therefore, it is to be very, very clear to all of us where all this knowledge is residing, where all this knowledge is being chewed like a chewing gum, where all this knowledge is creating trouble. Those areas Patanjali is dealing with directly to the point, without wasting any time, directly to the project. He has probably understood very well the Tattva Gyan, or the essence of all the wisdom. It is not possible for most of us to assimilate directly. And therefore, he brings about this philosophy, which is a philosophy and a practice both. So far, he has defined what is yoga. In the first place, he says yoga is a discipline. Ath yoga anusashana. So we need to look at our life. We need to ponder over whatever activities or habits, urges, drivers, hidden desires, vasanas we have, because all those are going to only engage and spin our mind. Let us be very clear. Mind is like a lake. Mind is like a lake. It has been compared with a lake in which first time, if it is stabilized without any ripples, the reflection of your true being falls. And mind is a beautiful capacity or entity or your exhibit part, which is very complicated and very beautiful. Beautiful because it is this mind through which you have experienced the most grand experiences of your life. And it is only through this mind you have suffered the most horrific agonies of your life. And you have not understood what mind is. But the question here is, while Patanjali focuses on mind truly, but he knows the purpose and he has stated it. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. That means you, the seer, who's the seer of the mind as well, owner of the mind as well, should be seated in his own place, own grand place, own rightful place. Or else, itaratraha vritti sarupya. Wherever your vritti or the activity or the ripples or the currents of the mind are powerful enough to absorb your being completely, that is called vritti sarupya. So you are one yet divided in many, which Shiva Sutra called differentiated knowledge. The knowledge which has been fragmented. You are the one, but you have mind, intellect, ego, sanskaras, memories, habits, etc. You are the one, but you have 5 senses. You are the one who have one body, one mind, but so many identifications. You are the one, but you're also a man, a woman. Apart from that, you're a brother, You're a sister, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a son, you're a husband, you're a friend, you're an enemy, and whatnot. So if we need to identify who we are, we don't need to do anything. Mind in its pristine state is capable of reflecting it. You don't have to do anything. Mind which is not spinning, which is not waving, which is not engaged in a vritti, not pursuing a goal or future happiness, mind which is not projecting, mind which is not engaged in imagining, good or bad, doesn't matter. Mind which is not in a state of stupor, it's not stupefied. Mind which is not agitated, and the mind which is capable of perceiving the reality as it is. Even that mind, which is perceiving the reality as it is, in the sense when we turn our attention outside, is a hindrance. Let us be clear that when Patanjali defined Vrittiyah Panchatayah Klishtaha Aklishtaha Cha, he gave those all vrittis, the list of vrittis. What was it? Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smritaya. Cha. Right? These are the five vrittis. Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smriti. Which means, and Pramana was further categorized as Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda in the three. Pramana means direct perception, direct knowledge. And this knowledge itself is a vritti. You see? If vrittaya panchataya klishtah aklishtah cha, it has been defined. And he has also said that vritti sarupya itara atraha. Vritti sarupya itaratra. What does it mean? That whenever you are identified with any of the vrittis, you have lost your place. You have, from one piece of mind, you have become many pieces of mind. So which simply means even direct perception is a vritti. You may not have thought about it. You may have thought that if I perceive everything as it is going to liberate me. If I see the truth as truth, through my mind, through my faculties, through my intellect, the truth would be revealed. No. Patanjali is very clear. And Shiva Sutras also, by the way, very, very clear. You don't have to think that Patanjali is talking anything else. Even Shiva Sutras said, Jnanam bandha, jnanadhishthanam matrika. If you can verbalize your experience, if you can give a name to any of your mindscape appearances, you have become many. . that moment itself you have become net. And I also said that our goal is not to stop the activities of mind altogether, forever. And Patanjali will also tell you that it is not needed. Because once you recognize the consciousness, the self, and this mind, right, as a separate being, that day onwards you're kind of free. I'll say jnaninamapi, but don't take pride in it. Jnaninamapi chetansi devi bhagavati kisa. You don't know which vritti, which sanskara, which vasana can overpower you. What is your being as of now? How do you assess who you are? You assess yourself to be the mind. You may not agree to it. You will say, yeah, but I see my mind sometimes doing tricks, playing tricks, bothering me, and therefore I get this feeling, feeble feeling, that I and my mind are not the one. But look at it. Your whole being and mind have become like a sponge dipped in water. Your consciousness and mind are so very gelled together. If the sponge is pressed, the water suffers. Right or not? Water is not identified. And the sponge and water kept separately in a space, given a space, but any suffering to the sponge will not create any deformity or any kind of ripples, any kind of movement, any kind of churning or currents in the water. Yes or no? But when this water is soaked in this, and it has to, because mind is not separate from the consciousness. It's only grossified consciousness. And therefore, discarding the gross, which is subjected to changes, which is subjected to time, you have to recognize yourself as pure water which is soaked in there. Right? And for that, mind is only going to help. This is the biggest fallacy, biggest contradiction, and biggest challenge. Our mind, which is in kshipta vikshipta moodha state, wants to recognize our true being. Kshipta, as I said, a mind which is disturbed, or you can say vikshipta, the mind which is agitated, moodha, the mind which is overpowered by or colored by or stupefied by the wrong notions. Such a mind is like a lake, see, which is constantly lot many waves, and forget about ripples. Waves after waves you are seeing on that surface of lake. On this, you can't find the image of who you are. But remember, when mind will reveal your image, that would be the moment to go for the real. You see, if somebody has decided not to raise his head or vision upward, look upward ever in his life, someday he comes by a lake which is completely still. And in that lake, he sees a beautiful luminous object in its glory shining upon the surface, and it is moon. That is for the first time he discovers that he has been missing something. But hypnotized by the beauty, mesmerized by the beauty, he may want to jump into it, jump into the lake to go grab this beautiful thing. But you know what will be the outcome, right? So what he has to do when such a reflection is appearing on the surface of a lake, it's only like a finger pointing towards an object. So whenever you will see yourself truly as a reflection in your mind, it is not the ultimate, it's not the ultimate experience. It's an experience of someone who has never been in front of mirror and never seen, never knew how beautiful or how ugly one is, or how luminous that one person is. So once you stand in front of your mind, which is undisturbed, you get to that reflection first. And that has been defined as, in our Ada Upaya, Atma Chittam, not Chaitanya Mahatma. Right? So Atma Chittam, the first experience of a lower capacity laden sadhak experiences oneself in the mind, and therefore Atma Chittam. Correct. Now, after defining all this, these vrittis, and that day when I was discussing these vrittis, I had said that one very complicated vritti of these is nidra, is deep sleep. And we always think that nidra means activity-less mind. Nidra means mind going back to rest, detaching itself from everything. That's wrong notion. That's your biggest wrong notion. 8 hours a day, 1/3 of your life, and some people probably 50% of their life, spend their time on the bed, sleeping. And they think that this is the time when they are with themselves. Wrong. Nidra is also a vritti. How Nidra is a vritti? You never asked. How Nidra is a vritti? You see, by definition, vrittayah panchatayah. Vrittayah panchatayah. Klishtaha aklishtaha. Okay. So do you experience your sleep as klishta and aklishta? Good sleep, not so good sleep? Do you? And if you do, it is a vritti. But you would want to know more how it is a vritti. You see, the process is so complicated that even if I try to explain, I may not be able to probably give it to you. However, please try to understand it this way. You have seen that stress buster rings, so people keep something like that, and they say, I'm in stress, so therefore I'm revolving it. You see, or something.
Fidget spinner.
Yeah, spinner, something like that. So you continue to revolve and enjoy. Suppose in your waking, what do you do? How mind perceives things? It perceives from sense objects. Intellect is awakened and it accesses memories to compare what it is. Correct? Is it not? This is how mind functions. Goes back to its reservoir, finds out whether what is this and therefore what action needs to be taken. If it is a golden rope lying on the road, it is a thing to be pocketed. If it is a snake, run away from there. This is how mind functions. Is it not? So how does mind functions that way? Cognizes through the senses, goes back to Smriti, brings forth that knowledge, associates that knowledge, and then intellect decides, ego decides or ego perceives it that way separately from him. Intellect stamps it, and then you take a decision. This is a cycle. Those who know Hindi or Sanskrit or Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, I don't know whether they have this word. This word is called vritta. Vritta means circle, right? This word vritta means circle. Okay. And vritti means what? The tendency of moving in circle. Please understand that. If that circle is that object called mind is rotating in a circle, mind doesn't move, but its modifications move like that. And it looks like as if the mind is revolving. One more example. You may all have seen in Deepavali days or even in your many functions where we do so electrical lighting, etc. is set up, right? And therein you have a specific strip of light in which some bulbs, some sources of light are lit up at one moment and then they go off, and the next set of light is lit up and then they go off, and the next set of light is lit up and then they go off. And what you get to experience is as if the light is moving. You see? As if the light is revolving. If you put in a circular thing, you'll see as if the circle is getting completed. Have you seen it? So if in sequence things continue to work, you will see that circle being completed. So somewhere where the vritti starts establishing itself in your mind, you have to come in the way. If you don't stand in the way, this continuity will never be broken. Not easy. And in deep sleep, you are anyways not there. You see? Are you there in your deep sleep? Do you have any memory or even experience of you being there as a judge in your deep sleep? Were you judging your deep sleep while you were sleeping? That's possible in dream. That's possible in waking. But that's not possible in deep sleep. Since you were not there in deep sleep as a judge, as a person who could have taken some action, decision, do you think the vrittis which are revolving are going to be anyways stopped there? The mind was spinning in the waking. The same spinning continued in your dream. right or not? The same spinning continues in your dream. Your dream is as good as the real, as good as waking. There is no difference at all. And that is why Patanjali has not taken up dream. Look at it. How beautiful. He has not defined dream as a specific modification of mind, because what happens in the waking happens in the dream. Yes or no? Similar sequences, though short-lived, though illogical, but it's the same circle which happens in the waking. And therefore, the vrittis, if you see the vrittis, that means the circular movements of the mind, cognizing, liking, disliking, wanting, and then either crying or jumping. Then again goes on like this. Wanting, imagining, getting it, imagining, losing it, then goes on like this. Right or not? And all this desire, all this want is very, very deep rooted in you. And nobody should come back and ask, Acharyaji, when did it happen that mind and consciousness came together like this? Anadi. Did I not tell you? Your ignorance is anadi. It's beginningless, but it can end. Right? So the cycle which was moving in the waking state, the cycle which was moving, the mind which was moving and in a circle in the dream state, do you think that it is not moving in the deep sleep? It continues to move, by the way. Only you are stupefied, out of inertia, out of tamas. The intellect goes to sleep and sense organs don't function anymore. And that is why even doctors today believe that all reorganization of waking information which is collected happens in deep sleep. Deep sleep is not an activity-less episode of your life. Rather, they would say sleep is very, very necessary, because it is the time when the sense organs and intellect are kind of, sense organs are shut, intellect is not doing, then mind itself, the chittam itself, are organizing all the information in the smriti categories and whatnot, what to bury deep in it and what to keep on the surface. And this intelligence continues to work. The mind continues to function. The same thing, how mind would be reorganizing despite you? How mind would be organizing itself despite you? Look at it. It's a very, very complicated thing. You are not there, but your vasanas are there. You are not there, but your desires, subtle desires, deeper desires, imprints are already there. These are your driving forces. These are the things which have decided what things in the world you want to collect. A stamp collector would not behave like a car collector. An actress would not behave like as a sports person. Yes or no? They would look for something specific to their quest. Yes or no? In the same way, whatever your sanskaras are, whatever your vasanas are, okay? Please remember, vasana is not a negative word. Let me tell you. Let me clarify it right here. You don't think vasana is a negative word. Vasana means coloring. Coloring. Your whole mind, whole being is colored in a particular hue, and that is what vasana becomes. So you may have the vasana for Devi. You may have vasana for Shri. You may have vasana for a person. You may have vasana for the sex. You may have vasana. The whole being is colored in that. All the time, like as I told you sometime during my Shiva Sutra discourses, or maybe Saundarya Lahari, that like a dog, sniffing all the time. Where, what is available? Where is my food? Where is my fodder? Where is my sense object which I am searching for? That becomes vasana. So your vasanas are active even in your deep sleep. And therefore, all the information which you had gathered during the waking and dream, it is organized as per your liking, as per what you are. And therefore, everything which you had prioritized in the day would be stacked just right on the top. So that as soon as your stupor goes away, right, and the moment you come to waking, the first thought, which was the lost thought. Look at it. So all your suffering continues even in deep sleep also. Let us be assured, we don't enjoy. We only enjoy what we enjoy in the name of deep sleep is forced inactivity, forced withdrawal, forced, you will say, anesthesia given to the mind, that intellect rather, right? So, and that is why you should also understand it is important how do we go to sleep. So very important. How we enter into sleep. If we enter into sleep worried, buried, worried people are buried also, buried under there. And they sometimes are buried also if they are from Bihar or Bengal, because they are full, right? Always full. Just poke them little bit and they will puke it. Always full. Understood? So look at it. We need to work on this mind which has so much problem, so many vasanas, not interested in knowing itself, not interested. Are you interested in knowing yourself, or you are interested कल सवेरे का नहीं मिस होना चाहिए हमारा जो अगला अपॉइंटमेंट है? That's $1 billion appointment, right? Are you really knowing? Want to know yourself? Really want to come out of where you are? And that is why the day one I said yoga is for those who are completely frustrated from this life. If you're frustrated, it is good. Till the time you are not, you have no chance. Not only yoga, forget about any query regarding something which is beyond. Eat, sleep, make merry. Eat, sleep, drink also, by drink and make merry. If everything is getting fulfilled, nobody on earth would ever think of anything else. It's good that some people are not making merry, and we are not yet away from the Merry Christmas a week, not even a week. We are not yet able to sustain it. Good. But such a mind which is perturbed, disturbed, and agitated, and not knowing what to do, and doing everything what it should not do, we are saying, please, mind, sir, mind yourself. Please, sir, mind yourself. Are we not saying that? Are we not aiming at that? And therefore, it is going to be a tough task. Let us not fool ourselves that it is going to be easy. Whether we go Shiva Sutra way or we go Patanjali Sutra way, It is mind, which we need to work on first. Shiva Sutras may have been little mystical, little cryptic. They may not have given you direct methods, but Patanjali is a very, very simple guy. He doesn't believe in royalty, etc., no copyright. So he will give certain sutras. Sutras are essence. Sutras are essence. Sutras are something like something what you call arc, right? And if it is given once, you will understand what it is, right? And someone who is qualified enough need to work on the essence, right? I don't know, because if you are, let's say, if you're trying to create a wonderful recipe at your home, let's say, and instead of your spices, you are given the essence of the spices and the flavors both, which mostly happens in food industry. Now, creating a flavor out of essence is a very technical job. You can't pour it like 1 chammach, 2 chammach and all that. The very calculated things you need to put, otherwise the recipe is going to be a nightmare for people whom you serve them. Yeah? Right? Who are served by your recipe, they are going to be in perennial problem till the time they stay on this dinner table. Yes or no? In the same way, if you are dealing with the sutras, you can't apply it by them yourself. People can't apply it by themselves. You have to go to a master flavorist or whatever you call, or perfusionist, perfumery work who does, then that person will create a new flavor for you, right or not? In the same way, the practices also are to be taken by the teacher. Sutras are to be understood. Okay. Right? So you have asked, have you ever asked, what is the practice you have given so far? Have you given any practice in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras? The question should be asked. But Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tannirodha. Come to that. Okay. Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tannirodha. This is what 12th Sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutra is. This is the first. Right? Right? Samadhipat. First chapter. 12th Sutra. Is it 12th Sutra? Am I right? Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tannirodha. Huh?
Yes, Guruji, 12th Sutra.
Okay. My smriti is not failing me. Good. My mind is working. It is working in a right vritti. Okay, good. Okay, so our whole discussion so far has enlightened you already, right? And what was this enlightenment? The enlightenment is that if we are awake and we call a spade, we are haunted by a vritti. Look at it. And it is not going to liberate us. It does not mean we don't call a spade. It shouldn't mean that, because even that is a vritti, right? That is viparya, that is even worse. That is vikalpa, which is not what you call pramana, direct, pratyaksh. It is not, right or not? So therefore, we need to now come back to our discussion here, and I won't leave you unless until you understand Abhyasa Vairagya. Because if you don't understand Abhyasa Vairagya, the whole Patanjali system is going to crumble. Right? Patanjali, as I said, as a mathematician, if this concept is not clear, ask again and again. Teachers do say, na, in the classroom, please ask this. Otherwise, I will, you see, your whole semester you will be in problem. You will not be able to move through this subject unless until you have understood it. Therefore, please focus here. Please focus. Unless you understand 12th Sutra, Abhyasa, Vairagya, Abhyam, Nirodha, you are not going to understand Patanjali. And therefore, I am halting here. Though I had exceeded little bit, just to explain what is Abhyasa, like Tat Pristau Yatnau Abhyasa, it was taught, right? And what is Vairagya and all that. But the concept whether Abhyasa and Vairagya can help should be very, I would say, very deeply it should be ingrained in your being. That Abhyas and Vairagya are the two things which are going to make me succeed. Okay? But the problem is, another scripture in Hinduism, which is very dear to most of the Ammas, Srimad-Bhagavatam, and they would sit down for a week recitation of, and they would cry on the Leelas of Sri Balakrishna. That is what it is. Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has a story in the beginning where Bhakti as a mother has been said to have two sons, which are said to be Jnana and Vairagya. So that means Patanjali, if you understand in isolation, you will say Vairagya. Okay, how can it come? By the way, with its twin brother, Jnana. Please understand, they are twins. Vairagya is not alone. And they are the sons of Bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. What do you say? Bhakti means devotion. Devotion to what? Devotion to whom? Devotion for what? Should be a question. Because if these two sons arise out of only Bhakti, then Bhakti for you people, let me degrade that. Bhakti is commitment to yourself, that I am here only to know myself. Complete devotion to this aspect of your life, this purpose of your life is your Bhakti. So, let us be very clear. Bhakti is needed for Jnana and Vairagya to come up in a sane person. Right? In other case, the passion and Jnanam comes. Right? If you are not focused on the right path, two sons will be born, I am telling you. If you have bhakti for the world, you will definitely be having two sons. Again, two things to make you succeed. One is, of course, Jnana. But the Jnanam is, of course, about the temporary now. Jnanam is about manipulation now. You have to apply. And then it will be passion, not dispassion. You see. So bhakti for something away from you, outside of you, will give you these two qualities, passion and intelligence. Without being intelligent, you can't succeed in the world. To be able to succeed in the outer bhakti, people are like, I have seen people who happen to be very devout materialists. Yeah. For them, every year they have anushtanam for a new devata. Like every devata has a different function to perform in their life. First devata, let's see, I am cooking on stove, so what? I want microwave devata. So microwave devata anushthanam will be done. Okay. Few months will be spent in tapascharya. Then microwave devata will appear. Okay. Bless. Right. And so on and so forth. Refrigerator devata, washing machine devata, car devata, and then there are the grades from Yaksha Gandharva Apsaras to in every category you have all that. Right? छोटा कार है ये तो बेकार है you see ये तो ये यक्षिणी है कहाँ देवी चाहते थे हम तो another अनुष्ठान. So these devout materialists continue to engage their whole being with all the knowledge they have with passion. You see? Yes or no? The passion for what they want. This attachment. But if you start to work on yourself, you want to work on the mind itself, you have to practice this passion. So till the time you are having your wish list, I want this, I want this, I want this, or I want this to happen like this, I want this to happen like this, or I don't want this to happen like this. Okay. Now you can make your own. I have given you a hint. Till the time you have this list, you are only fueling your vrittis. This is what you have been doing for millions of lifetimes. This is a vritti. Vritti means circle. If you continue with this circle, you will continue in the circle you are suffering right now. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So what do we do? Yoga sharanam. Right or not? And vairagya is what we need to start practicing. Now, vairagya, how will it come? By living intelligently. With jnana, vairagya comes. Right? First, vairagya is going to come only when you live your life minimally. You need things from the outside minimally. Okay? Let me give you some examples of vairagya. Okay? How the vairagya can start coming to your life. And what are those areas? First thing, you can look at a person and tell whether he is in vairagya or not, is by the way one wears one's clothes and the type of clothes. Right? Colorful, fancy, and what for? Did you ever ask yourself, what are you wearing it for? What are you wearing it for? For whom? For yourself? I doubt. I doubt. Because whatever you want for yourself, you will keep it in your, most, nearby cupboard. Right? Whatever you want for yourself, you will sleep with it. Yes or no? Tell me. Whatever you want for yourself, whatever you want to be possessing, your possessions, you want to keep it close to yourself and you would like to sleep with them. Yes or no? Yes or no? You don't want to let go those objects, people, things which you think they are really wanting for myself. You don't leave them. Even while going to sleep, you ensure सब लोग ठीक तो है ना भाई. Before I sleep, I should ensure that सारा कुनबा ठीक है. Right or not? But tell me, with all those clothes which you display, can you go to sleep like that? Do you go to sleep with them? In them rather? No. So what did you wear it for? Look at it. Look at your life. You would fully know how much devout materialist you are. Okay. If it has to serve its purpose, if it is necessary, do it only that way. Don't take it as your liking, disliking. Don't make it a project of your life. This should be the clothes. अरे engagement में तो हो गया, गोद भराई में तो हो गया, उसमें क्या पहनेंगे? अरे come on, hold on. Problem ladies का बहुत है. It's a huge problem. But what for? Can't you be yourself? Men are at least little bit, I would not say, but little bit less engaged in this. Less, not saying fully, completely out of it. But because I have seen men also who spend as much time, I'll say double the time, in dressing, in getting ready, in the parlors, in the pedicure, in the manicure and whatnot. Right? I've said. So look at, is it vairagya? Out of vairagya you are wearing all this? Look at it. Give yourself minimum choice. Beginning of vairagya. Don't live to prove something to somebody. You want to prove that you are the most beautiful person on the earth to others, and that you carry yourself a woman of metal, a woman of beauty without brains should carry her. Right? And I'll tell you, yes, when I say beauty with brains, it is very, very evident. If you go to villages, if you go to Rajasthan, if you go to places where people are less literate, you would find that those women, men, they wear very, very bright colors, so much colors, colors after colors. It's, riot of colors. Go to Rajasthan, go to Gujarat, go to village side, and you'll find riot of colors. Colors very dark, very bright. All women folk and men folk even would wear brightest of colors. Right? Have you seen that? But as you become more and more educated, more and more sophisticated, more and more, you'll say, from brighter colors to mera wala cream, peach, pink, and so on and so forth. You see? Yes or no? And ultimately to the most sober color, white. You see? This is the journey. Ask any village woman to wear white. She will refuse. What for she is wearing? If she was wearing it for herself, she would wear it. But it is not so. It is not out of vairagya you are dressing up yourself, right? So let us give ourselves minimum choices. It does not mean you don't dress up. It does not mean you become, start looking like a chimpanzee. No, huh? Don't. But give yourself minimum choices. एक चीज खत्म करो लाइफ से, enough, right? और requirement, जो जरूरत है वो करो. right? अभी problem क्या है? The problem is, I'll tell you, real issues of life, especially in case of women. शादी इतने जाड़े में रख लिए, क्या पहनेंगे? वैराग्य. That is why Mahavir was right. Did he not tell? Till the time a soul comes in the man's body, cannot be liberated. Those who cannot be liberated from the simple habit of dressing up very nicely, जाड़े में शादी रख दी, अब क्या करेंगे? It's a problem. Then do you think they will be liberated from this bhava sagar? Bhava means to become. Becoming, the sagar, the ocean, arnav of becoming. Whatever they are not satisfied with it. They want to become. This becoming is not going, and they want to cross the bhava sagar. Is it possible? Forget about it. So I'm not discouraging you people, but just showing you a mirror, which you love to see, by the way. Right? What you are living for. What are you dressing for? Okay? Just one thing. Rest of the things in Vairagya we will cover at some other time. One way of looking at your life should be give yourself minimum choices. Right? That's the foundation stone of Vairagya. Right? Please understand that. Do you agree or not? I don't know whether I am working against your whims and fancies and telling all this. You may be thinking, कहाँ गलत गुरु पकड़ लिया लग रहा है, पहनने भी नहीं देगा, लगता है बाद में हमको बर्थडे सूट नहीं भेजेगा यहाँ से. Don't think that way, please. Right? वो भी चलेगा. Choiceless existence. That's not minimum choice. That's a choiceless existence. And many masters chose like that. It's not that only it doesn't happen. It happens. It may go to that extreme also. The Mahavir became like that, and all other followers of Mahavir are thinking that like that. Unless you drop your clothes, you become choiceless there also. You are not yet liberated. So that may be a fanatic way of it. But look at it. Are we giving ourselves too many choices only to get entangled in the cycle of making, choosing, and becoming disturbed and spinning our mind endlessly? Look at it. Control that. Control that. Become completely free of it if you can. Right? See, you can't come out of it unless until follow it. And that is why I give you certain rules very, very subtly, whether you understand. Till the time you want to prove something to somebody about yourself, you will continue to behave like this. Not answerable to anybody. I am not, by the way. You may find 1,000 faults in my being and behavior, but I'm not answerable to anybody. And because I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. You may call me fool, you may call me fraud, you may call me anything. Doesn't matter. There's no point. And all your life, you people are engaged only in proving something to somebody. Till the time you are in this state of mind, in this desire, this vasana, that I want to be better than the others, holier than thee, and all that, please. You are not going to free yourself. Kshipta, vikshipta, mood. These are the three things, three states of mind. Patanjali says, see, I'm not talking of Tantra here. Please remember, I am in the shoes of Patanjali right now. And therefore, I am telling you this. Patanjali says, Vikshipta, Kshipta and Mudha, these are the three states which are not at all helpful. They will not be able to liberate you from there. Even first thing which you want to drop from it is Vikshipta. At least stop becoming Vikshipta. Murta can be done away even later. You don't understand, it is okay. But if you understand too much and get entangled in the words and knowledge and jargon and whatnot, then it is a problem. Vikshipta is a problem. Mood is not a problem. Let me tell you. Mood can be easily guided. Only once he has to be, somehow you have to drill it down to him. And once it is drilled down, then no problem. He will walk that path without any confusion and doubts. So we need to be very, very clear. Are we living a life of confusion, competition, fear, anxiety, wanting to prove something to somebody, any kind of doubt, self-doubt, any complex? What is our mental space is being ruled by? What is it? Is it out of fear? लोग क्या कहेंगे? ठीक है, फिर लोगों के लिए जियो. लोगों के लिए जियो. Nobody is asking you to live for yourself. And by the way, society is like that. Right? So hypocrite. Expecting everybody to live for others, while not only saving their own places in this web, but making it more powerful, empowered. You see? And so much hypocrisy. And it is, of course, gotten into every system. And this is the whole stream, the current, the way, the whole consciousness. Because at one point in time, when you will understand this, when you will graduate and postgraduate and do it, you will understand there are not many minds, but there is one mind. Ultimately, you have to get rid of it. This one mind is loaded with so much things, and whatever the world is going through is that happening in the mind only, right? Yes or no? So how important it becomes for us to drop this mind immediately, because world is not the way we want to be. Yes or no? World is not the way we want to see it. Yes or no? World is not going the direction in the way we would like itself to go. The world is not presenting all things which I per se like or am comfortable with. And which is what that element should be, which is creating all this? Mind. Therefore, such a mind, which has become the source of all misery on the planet, if it is one mind as masters tell us, then this mind is not needed. Sooner I become free of this mind, I am at peace. I am myself. Yes or no? Yes or no? So look at it from both perspectives. Whether you take your mind as an individual mind, you have to get rid of it. If you take this mind as a collective mind, this mind is the most problematic mind. Yes or no? Most cruel mind. Most, I will say, unhealthy, unbeautiful, ugly, whatever word you want to use. Pathetic, awful. Not the mind. This is not the mind. This is a collective mind. Even this is the mind. We should keep it away. Keep it away. Right or not? We should be here. Mind should be away. Yes or no? Tell me. See, I give you only a perspective. Each day you may come to a new perspective. Why should I pursue this? Why should I pursue? See, you will have to eat your lunch. You will have to eat your lunch. I'll not eat it for you, but I can tell you what is in there, how many delicacies are there, and I can give you reasons to go and sit on the dining table. But you'll have to eat your lunch, right or not? So remember what I'm saying here is mind is the most problematic entity the world is dealing with. If at any day humanity comes to become extinct, it will be only because we did not know how to take charge of this mind. Yes or no? Right or not? So let us be let us become aware. This awareness that mind is the evil, most dreadful evil. But the same mind is so much useful if it is tamed, if it is washed away from its own impressions, and its pristine nature is reclaimed. Right? So mind per se is not bad. The modifications of mind are bad. We should be very clear. So what does it mean? Keep away from mind means keep away from these simple desires, things, motivations. These are the things you need to work on. Actually. Oh. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashid dukha bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shiva.
ॐ श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरवे नमः।